The Portland Trailblazers are signing Carmelo Anthony to a non-guaranteed deal. Part of the negotiations was very interesting. The GM of the Portland Trailblazers actually came out and said, "Hey, we need you." Carmelo Anthony told them, "We need you, and you need me," and it's per Adrian Wojnarowski. It sort of seemed like a hand in glove fit. Seems like the Portland Trailblazers are looking for somebody that can command the respect of CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard. And on the other end, Carmelo Anthony is looking for a way to get back in the NBA and prove that he could play at the age of 35. One of the few things that kind of disturbs me about this, though, is the contract is not guaranteed. And for Melo to get a non-guaranteed contract, but when he's only a year removed from the NBA, and when he was playing in the NBA, he was a top 30 rebounder, top 30 scorer. Like he basically is. You could say he's not. You don't consider him a star player, but he played better than, I would say, at least 60 to 70% of starters in the NBA. Period. So let's just say you don't consider Melo a star player. He is at best a starter on any roster. So for them to give him a non-guaranteed contract, I felt like that was a little bit disrespectful. I know they want to see how things go and everything like that, but it's Melo. Like, he deserves to at least get a 10-day contract where it's guaranteed. For him to sign him to a non-guaranteed contract, and it's also contingent on him being in shape, even though CJ McCollum and his trainer, everything you've seen that he is actually in shape. I know there's a big difference from playing pickup and being in game shape. That's going to take a little while, but he hasn't dropped off the face of the earth. He's only 1 year removed. Give him a non-guaranteed deal. And just off his name alone, he should be getting a guaranteed deal because he could go play anywhere else overseas and get guaranteed millions. So to me, that was like a little disrespectful. But this is the problem that I have with the Portland Trailblazers bringing in Melo. Because initially, Damian Lillard said, "Hey, I tried to recruit Melo. I tried to put the feelers out there, and didn't work." But the Blazers are terrible. They're 5-8. Defensively, they're below average. They're allowing almost like 115 points per game. They're ranked 21st in opponents' points per game. They're ranked 19th below average out of 30 teams in defense, and they're 5-8. The problem with the Blazers is not like you're going to bring Melo in and he's going to shine any more than any other player on the team, or he's going to command the respect of CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard to play more defense. Melo's never been a defensive stopper, a guy that's strong on defense. So it's sort of like, even though both teams feel like they need each other and they're filling a void for each other, it's sort of, it seems like it's like an intentional fail or something that's just destined to fail based on the situation and the scenario. Melo's not that great on defense. I don't know what he's going to say on defense to make guys play better and harder on defense. He could score. He could score out the wazoo. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of being like an otherworldly defender and making guys, galvanize the locker room and stuff like that, I don't see Melo doing that. And them sitting at 5-8 and on a road trip where things could go wrong even more, because they're still finding themselves because they still have some pieces to bring in. And not to mention, they have injuries. Pau Gasol still hasn't played. Yusuf Nurkic hasn't played. So there's still guys that they're still integrated into their system. So you bring Melo into the mix. If Melo doesn't play an defense for a couple plays, is that going to be grounds for termination? Like, what are the grounds for termination? Because it seems like they just picked him up just to put him back down. So, and the fact that he didn't get any serious other offers from any other team, there's some other teams sitting at 5-8 that if the playoffs started today, they wouldn't be in the playoffs as well. So I found that kind of odd as well. So if Joakim Noah can make a roster on the Grizzlies, why can't Carmelo Anthony? But, that has to go with the whole blackball scenario, which I was bringing up. But in terms of Melo fixing what's wrong with the Blazers, and I don't think the Blazers particularly need Melo because they're not hurting in the scoring department. They're top 10 offensively ranked, and they're like ranked 11th in points per game. They can score the ball easily, but I don't see Carmelo Anthony doing what the general manager said in terms of a guy that C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard respect. The person they need to respect is Terry Stotts. Terry Stotts needs to implement a game plan defensively, and I don't think Stotts' forte is defense. He might be like another like D'Antoni, or it just might be like the guy. The Blazers are so small, and they're missing Paul Gasol. They're missing Nurkic hasn't played in like almost 2.5 seasons, so maybe that's the problem. Like they just haven't had a cohesive unit. But to me, it almost seems like there's a hidden agenda with bringing Melo in this state, because it's like you could have signed him during the offseason and then let him get a full training camp. So it's almost like we're 5-8. We're not playing that well. Let's bring Melo. Terry Stotts can't coach with Melo, and the assistance we give him, then Stotts is out. So to me, it almost looks like, and this might be like a roundabout way of looking at it, things, Terry Stotts is about to fall on the axe for the whole Melo debacle. So they'll say, well, we got swept last year. We got swept 2 years prior to that. It just seems like we can't get over the hump. We brought in Melo to help you deal with morale. That didn't help. So who's the underlying problem? What's the common denominator, Terry? You. And then they're going to fire Terry. They're going to get rid of Melo first, have a horrible season, or get in the playoffs, get beat, and then they blame it on Terry, because they brought in Whiteside as well to be a defensive anchor. Whiteside was a defensive player of the year candidate, with blocks and rebounds and stuff like that. So it almost feels, in my estimation, like it's appearance-wise, this looks like a hand-in-glove fit. Philosophy-wise, what is truly needed-wise, this is not a hand-in-glove fit. This is something else. This is awkward, and you have to look really beneath the surface, because surface-wise, you're like happy Melo gets a job. It's non-guaranteed, which I really hate. Guys that have 10-day contracts, those are guaranteed. Like they could cut Melo for anything. They could say he was late to practice and cut him. So it's tough. It's really tough to see a star player that, since he's been in the NBA, barely missed the playoff. He came in as a rookie and made the playoffs. For that to happen to him, so it's really odd to see that. So I'm curious to see how this plays out. I'm curious to see your thoughts on it. But their problem is not offensive. Like Melo is like a guy you could put in there. He gets a bucket. He gets boards. He forces double teams. He's an offensive powerhouse to me, even at the age of 35. Like he does things certain guys can't even do, period, on starter rosters. But the fact that a team that's lacking in defense, they want to bring Melo in to boost defensive morale, I don't see it. I don't see it. Even if, let's just say, LeBron was in the situation. LeBron at age 34, 35, 34, I don't see LeBron coming in to be a defensive stopper for a team. Let's just say he was, he wasn't playing for a year. He comes in, like, these guys are older, so you want them to go to a team that they need some offense, they need some bench scoring. That's not the Blazers' problem. Blazers' problem is defense. I don't see how Melo solves it. I love the fact that he has a job. I just don't want them to jerk him around. I don't want the Melo initiative to be because of an underlying agenda to get rid of somebody else and Terry Stotts. Because I think that's the next step for them. Either they're going to make a big trade, get rid of C.J. McCollum or Dame, whoever, because whoever asks out a trade first, whoever they can shop better. Because they tried everything. They can't get, it just seems like they can't get over the hump, really. And I know Golden State was there, but they brought in pieces, and 5-8 is just not good. 13 games in the season. I know they do the season in quarters, chunks. A lot of coaches do 10 games. Some coaches do 20 games. So far, it's just not looking good. So either they're going to do a big trade or they're just going to get a new coach. Because I feel like they said that this is very telling. They said they need somebody that could grab the attention of C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard. The coach isn't grabbing their attention, so they're not defending. There's something that the coach is not getting out of these guys. They're hoping Melo to bring out of them. Melo has always been a more guy that leads by example, not a guy that's a rah-rah guy to get in guys' face to force them to do certain things. That being said, I think they're bringing in Melo for the wrong reasons. They shouldn't have never said that. They should have, or information never should have leaked. We should have just found out that, hey, we're bringing in Melo. We want him to come off the bench, give us a boost off the bench, something like that. Nothing to the degree of he's going to make C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard really pay attention to the game. Because that's also insulting to those guys as well. Because it's like, what are you saying about us? Like, you're saying that we're not engaged? And that's basically what the GMs is saying. And, of course, Melo gets opportunity out of this. But I want to see Melo in a situation where he can flourish. Not in a situation where it's already bad. 5-8 is already bad. If he was coming to a team that was like 7-6, 7-7, a team that's basically they just need a few pieces, or a team with low expectation, they just want to bring in a guy to help teach the guys how to play, I would love it. But there's so many expectations set high. I don't want Melo taking a hit for something that C.J. McCollum doesn't do, or Damian Lillard doesn't do, or Terry Stotts is not doing. Hoops Junction, where hoops meets hoopla. Like, comment, subscribe.